You can do it.
Oh my God. I just wish you guys could be here for for the comment that Mark Schwab just made. Some days I think you should be in jail. I just do.
I think there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. Really, after that, you think there's something
Well,
wrong
I mean,
with me?
you did laugh out loud.
That is true.
You're putting it on me.
Yeah.
You did laugh
Yeah.
out loud to the comments.
Take some
so,
ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I guess I did bring up the story for that. So
Mm.
here we are. Thanks for being here on the Sports Porch, on the Sports Porch Pittsburgh.
Memorial Day version.
It is Memorial Day. Yes,
Day.
yes.
God bless our troops.
Yes. And
Happy
absolutely.
day off to everybody.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for your sacrifice to all those who can't be with us. And to those of you who are serving, all due
appreciate
respect. Absolutely.
All respect. Agreed.
This is the Sports Porch Pittsburgh, and you are watching live on social media right now, and that's how we do it. We're all over the world on social media, on the Sports Porch, on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Right, that's the other big one. And also, you can catch the Sports Porch podcast, the Pittsburgh version. You can subscribe to us on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, Overcast, anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. And as always, visit us on theporcheslive.com, theporcheslive.com.
Theporcheslive.com.
And we already got a faithful fan, Bobby Trumpet Jr.
Bobby.
Jersey's in the house.
What
What
up,
up, Bobby?
guys? So
What up, Jersey?
if you're listening on the podcast or on American Busker iHeartRadio every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern time, you can catch our show live on social media, 7:30 Monday nights Eastern time. You can be a part of the show. We encourage you to comment. That's the thing. We're a bunch of guys. Look, we're not insiders. We're not journalists. We're guys that sit around and talk about sports and other things.
I'm a Nobel Prize winner.
If you were able to see any of this, well, you couldn't. Anything that
No.
happened before this show, you would be horrified. And also, for me, it was one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life. So we welcome you here. So what do? We talk about sports. I think I've gone over that enough. So let's just dive right into it. Listen,
dive in.
if you've been listening, I want to thank you tremendously to the Buccos report after every Buccos game. Now tonight we're going to combine the Buccos report with the Sports Porch podcast because I don't even know. Schwab, are you checking the score? The Buccos were playing. They were down 5-1 early, which was no surprise. And if that happens, if they did lose, they're under 500. And I did say that I would.
They have lost 14-4.
Holy hell!
They are
almost got there.
They're now under 500.
Oh my goodness! So I had said that DG's in the house. What's up, DG?
Hey, David.
I had said I would do the Buccos report until they are back under 500. But you want to know what? I've had such a great time doing that, and I do mean that we're going to keep doing them, and I'm just going to do them all season long.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
I think you're nuts.
I know, but I thought you were nuts. I mean, and the Penguins are
It
good.
does get addicting. I understand where you are right now.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You'll
Brad,
hit a rough spot. You'll hit a rough spot.
I'm kind of going through that right now. Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you have those West Coast games, you're like picking it up in the morning anyway.
Yeah.
That's nothing wrong with that.
I did stay up for the Seattle game the other night, but it was Friday night. But I did stay up and watch it, and then ran down here and did the Buccos report at 1 a.m. That was actually fun. Don't know how long I'll be able to keep that part up.
Well, hey, I'll be up with you this week. Stanley Cup Finals. I'll be up all the time. Can't miss a game.
There you go. Okay, we'll commiserate together. So, anyway, I want to thank you for listening to the Buccos report after every Pirates game, and we're going to continue to do those because the response has been great. Tons of people are listening, and I am truly grateful. So let's talk about the Pirates. The Pirates are back to 500. Why, and why will they stay there or not?
They're under 500.
They are back to under 500. So what happened? Look, I know what the knee-jerk reaction is. What happened? What usually happens? Well, it's not what usually happens. They usually don't get off to a great start. They're usually treading water under 500 for a while. What happened is their bats. Look, Shelton can't figure out where this lineup should be. Okay. And I've been advocating for this for the entire season. I think not that it would change things dramatically, but I think that G1 Bay needs to be the leadoff hitter. I just think he needs to be the leadoff hitter. You got Bay, you got Kutch, you got Reynolds. They don't have a true number 4 hitter. So Sawinski can hit home runs. Okay. I think that guy still has major league potential. Okay, Santana is over the hump. Ke'Bryan Hayes has no bat whatsoever. Willie Mays Hayes. The other night, last night, they went to 10 innings, or yesterday, they went to 10 innings. Okay, they could not they had the bases loaded. Okay,
with nobody out,
and they could not get a runner in. And they had 2 outs, bases loaded, and Ke'Bryan Hayes comes in. He's already struck out 3 times. I knew he was going to strike out to end the game. Not to end the game. Seattle came back and hit the 3-run bomb, and that guy is the Pirates killer. He hits home runs like crazy against Pirates. But my point is, you can say, why did Shelton leave him in? Why didn't he pinch hit for him? Well, who the hell was going to pinch hit?
Right.
I mean, they don't even have a bench. Their bench is playing.
It's just a lack of talent issue, unfortunately. That's all it is. I mean, really, the fact that they held on above 500 almost until Memorial Day was a great start to the season.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if anything, if they go through some sort of a hot streak again, it keeps them relevant. But
yeah, they could.
I don't think so.
How are they going to do that? I mean, they already outperformed who they were supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
So to get back to that, how do you get back to that? Without a spark from somebody, like they got their first spark from Kutch coming back, right? Clearly he was happy to be back, had a little bit of extra adrenaline. His age is going to show now. And so they're not going to get that from him. But they got to get it from somebody. So they either got to bring somebody up, which clearly they don't have, or they got to go and get somebody, which clearly they won't. So I just don't know where they get it from.
That's the issue that, we've dealt with for years. And that is truly, honestly, now following the team as closely as I've followed it this year, that is the issue. I really now understand even more how frustrating that is, because they're not going to do anything. There are some moves they could make. They're one player away. Schwaber and I were talking before the show. Who are we talking about that if you put them in the lineup? Harper.
Bryce Harper.
Yeah. They don't have to get a $300 million man, but you got a Bryce Harper in their lineup is not horrible. Okay. It's performing horrible right now, but it's not horrible. But there's a few players that I mean, God bless him. Ke'Bryan Hayes should not have a bat. Okay. The guy is just, but who are you going to put in instead? Who are you going to give a shot? You're not. And Shelton keeps tinkering with the lineup. The other thing that I had a huge problem with the other day was, Mitch Keller, who's having a tremendous season. And this is his, third full year in the big leagues? Is it his third full year?
Is it? He's young? I didn't realize he was that young.
He's young.
No, he's young. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
He
I could be wrong about third full year if you want to look that up. But I think the point I'm making is that it looks like, he added a 2-seam fastball this year. He's starting to understand how to pitch to certain hitters, how to pitch in certain situations. And then he had another test the other night. And that test was he got off to a rocky start. He got behind early. Okay. And a younger pitcher, a younger Mitch Keller, then the wheels are going to come off. But instead, what did he do? He pulled it together. He kept them in the game. He gave up 4 runs, which is uncharacteristic, but he finished the 6th inning off with 2 strikeouts. They had an 8-4 lead. They go to the 7th, and Shelton trots him out there. Okay, you've got a good bullpen.
Right. especially with a 4-run lead.
Right. Why? And then immediately he walks the first batter. The next guy hits a home run. Thank God it was 8-6 at that point, and they ended up winning 11-6. But you take what's a great situation and you turn it into a nothing burger.
Mm-hmm.
And after the game, when you're watching the game, after the game, you get a shot of Mitch Keller. He looks like he lost the game, and then they go on to lose the next 2. So, I don't understand that. And obviously the Pirates organization is not going to go out and pay the big bucks for the best manager in baseball either. I get that too. But, as fans, you're looking at this and you're going, my God, if this team can put together the type of first third of the season that they just have, and they're literally missing like 1 or 2 pieces just to stay relevant, not to go to the World Series.
Right.
What the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing?
They're just not going to do that when we already know that.
I know.
They actually have a reason to do it this year with losing O'Neal Cruz so early in the season. And if they're not going to do it now, they're never going to do it, because they could go out and rent a guy for the rest of the year. And if they're not relevant by the trade deadline, just trade them back to whoever you got them from.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's always been my big beef with the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. They just don't do it. They're not going to do it. And you're stuck in this mediocrity. At least we're not at the bottom
yet.
But, well, you think we're headed there? I just think the division's that bad.
Well, the A's are really bad.
Yeah. Well,
they're not. Yeah, they're not.
Or something.
Yeah, they're not Oakland A's bad. But,
Yeah.
I mean, they still got St. Louis below them and the Reds below them.
Yeah, I mean, the division is not the greatest division. So is there an outside chance? I would say at this point, watching the way they're performing, they have absolutely no shot at the wild card. Now, the division is so bad that do they have a shot at the division? I would say very outside, because teams like the Cubs and the Cardinals make moves.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
What I mean?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Cubs will definitely make a move. And even Milwaukee's been known to make moves in the past few years anyways.
Right. So I'm going to just real quick, this is going to be our Buccos report for the night. So the Pirates lose 14-4. They are now under 500, 26-27. They scored 4 runs on 9 hits with 2 errors. They got 1 in the top of the 9th. Yeehaw. San Francisco, 14 runs on 18 hits. If I'm not careful, I'll start thinking about what Schwaber said right before the show, and I'll start laughing. The loss goes to Rich Hill. Let's take a look at his line. 6 innings pitched, 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 1 walk, 3 Ks. Not a good outing for him.
Well, maybe for him.
Yeah, but Bolton, wow, he pitched a gem. A third of an inning pitch, 6 hits, 8 runs, 8 earned runs, 2 walks.
Ouch. That's not going to do good things for his ERA.
Yes. Zastryzny, which is one of the most incredibly Soviet era KGB names I've ever heard.
Zastryzny.
Yes, I am Zastryzny.
2/3
of an inning, 1 hit, no runs, a walk, Owings. It really doesn't matter after Bolton. So there's your problem right there. And let's see. Joe had a double. Marcano had 2 doubles. Palacios had a triple and a double. Hey, Sawinski did hit 2 home runs again. Wow. Where was he batting in the lineup? There you go. Number 4. Hey, what was I saying? Sawinski should bat number 4.
Yep.
Now look at this though. Look at Shelton tinkering around with this line. Marcano, Reynolds, McCutchen, Sawinski, Joe, Bay, Castro, Palacios, Hedges. This is driving me nuts. Okay. They bang out 7 home runs.
Right.
And the next night, Kutch isn't in the game and they have a different lineup. Okay. Why not show a little consistency there? So back to 500 or back to under 500, excuse me. Let's see where that puts them currently. 2 back in the Central. And we just talked about that. Tomorrow night's game is at 9:45 p.m. Yeah, I'll be talking to you late, Steve. Is there a Stanley Cup game tomorrow night, or is there a playoff game?
Not tomorrow night, no.
Oh, so you'll be sleeping. Okay.
Well, because even if Dallas wins tonight, they're not going to start the Stanley Cup until
Saturday.
Yeah, I think Saturday. They're starting no matter what.
Okay. So there's your Buccos report for the night. But I'm going to keep doing them because I am having fun, and hopefully, hey, who knows? We'll see what happens. But that's about that. So let's move on to something that's a little more fun than that. Let's move on to the fact that we found out that the Steelers have a smoky locker room. LeVeon Bell spoke.
It was before he got to the locker room.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
No, I guess they didn't actually specify.
Off the premises.
On the way in the car.
I like that kind of party.
Yeah, let me tell you. What do you guys think about that? What are your thoughts? I mean,
well, it doesn't surprise me.
Right.
Does it surprise any of you?
No, I mean, he got picked up with another person in the car smoking, and that's kind of what got him. That's what got him into trouble to begin with. And he was like, "Don't you know who I am?" Essentially.
Yeah.
And the cops were like, "It doesn't matter who you are. You're smoking weed, and we can smell it, and that's that."
Right.
And of course, it did go. It went reported, but nothing really happened from it.
Right.
So the fact that they're actually talking about it now, no, it's not a surprise.
So I think
it happens all the time on every team. I don't think the Steelers are unique in this situation.
Yeah, probably.
Right. Well, what he was specifically talking about was the fact that he smoked it before the games. I think he even mentioned in the parking lot, but he smoked it before the games because it gave him the ability to kind of ignore the pain. And what that tells me is that, like you said, it happens all the time. And this crazy love of mine, I couldn't help myself.
That's fine.
I've been listening to Mellow 70s Gold on Amazon Prime.
The heck was that?
You don't know that song? Crazy Love of Mine?
No? I don't.
It happens all the time. This crazy love of mine.
Maybe with better singers.
There you go. I
know. we'll work on getting backup singers for next week.
Well, I'm going to practice right after. So, no, it leads me to say, look, there's a lot of guys smoking weed right before the game. He's not the only one doing it. Yeah. And damn well the teams know they're doing
it. Well, now it's legal.
Sure. Well, it's
pretty much they're not testing for it.
Yeah, they're not testing.
Well, that's different now.
So it is illegal.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I just thought it was funny that he came right out and admitted it. I thought it was funny.
Well,
I was like, figures.
I think the whole thing with LeVeon Bell actually is sad because, he was a really great player who took a stand really for no good reason and ruined his career. I mean, he could have potentially been on a path to be a Hall of Fame running back if he stayed here and had many more good years. And he just really kind of threw it all away to take a stand and make money and go to a team that was garbage and just deteriorate as a player. And now he wants to sign a contract with the Steelers to retire a Steeler. Great, but it's kind of like you screwed it all up, buddy.
Yeah. Do you think the Steelers would do that?
No. And there's just no chance because of the way he left.
I agree.
And actually, he left for more money, but he would have gotten more money had he signed that contract with the Steelers and would have been better off.
Right.
So, I get it. Like, sometimes the Steelers are cheap when it comes to especially the running back position. But in this case, they knew what they had, and they had somebody pretty special. He could catch the ball. He was a pretty good runner. He wasn't great on contact. Let's face it. He didn't like the contact. Clearly, if he had to smoke pot, to help deaden the blow of that, right?
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think things would have been much better off for the Steelers organization and for LeVeon Bell if that didn't happen. And I just wonder, like, if who he was talking to that told him like he can get more money elsewhere. Like, but I don't think he had a good crew around him.
Right.
And maybe that's what we're seeing now with the Steelers by saying, "Hey, we're gonna draft good character players now." Maybe that's code for people who have good people around them so they make better decisions when contracts come up for negotiations.
Yeah, but he seemed to be also, I mean, he went to the Jets. Now, we were going to talk about this a little bit later, but I'll bring it up now. He went to the Jets and he made a comment that when he went to the Jets, that's when he really realized the difference between a good coach and a bad coach in the NFL. He said Gase was not a very good coach. He was not very organized, that Sam Darnold had no clue what the protections were going to be or the plays that we're going to call, because Gase had he did not have that kind of decision making.
He said it was too complicated.
Right. And that Tomlin, and that, in a way, I think that was his kind of backdoor way of saying, I should have stayed in Pittsburgh. But do you really think that, I get the sense that because a truly talented running back, a guy that has all those kinds of skills and is really great, he would have performed a little better with the Jets. I think he had been used up. I think his usefulness was, he carried a really heavy load here. So I think he was at that critical moment where it was like he just wasn't going to be the same player anyway.
First of all, I don't think anybody performs well with the New York Jets.
Well,
right.
So going there should have been a red flag to begin with. Like, that was the only team that wanted to take a shot with him. And the only reason he ended up in Kansas City was because they got him basically for $500,000. Yeah. And they could run him as a third running back.
Yeah, and he only carried the ball a couple times. It was almost nothing.
Right. So, that's the thing. Like, when you're going to the Jets, you're screwed. And by the way, I feel that way about Mr. Rogers up in New York now.
As do I. Yeah.
I just don't think that's ever going to work out well. Look, that happened with Neil O'Donnell when he left the Steelers.
Listen,
at the prime of his career.
We've talked about this. It's
just not a good place to go.
Cleveland drafts quarterbacks and they die, and the rest of all the old quarterbacks, you go to the Jets to finish your career and just limp out of the league. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to do jack shit in New York.
I do like the Jets' new coach, Saleh.
Yeah,
that's his name.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know.
I think they've got a chance with him there, but I don't know how much he runs the team. I don't know anything about the Jets and their organization, but with him at the helm, I think he's got a better chance at it. But let's face it, Rodgers ruins every team he goes to.
Yeah, and they do have a those two young dynamic running backs.
Yeah, Breece Hall's excellent.
Yeah. So
Garrett Wilson at wide receiver.
And Garrett Wilson.
And then they brought in his guys, Lazard, and
they got some talent, and they got what's his name in the cornerback position.
And
the sauce.
It actually sounds like we're making a case for them to be better. Todd?
No, a lot of people are choosing them to do well. I think they will be better, and I think that's one of the teams the Steelers are going to have to beat out for the wild card.
Listen to that. Okay, and Todd Ross says you said a month full, Chris. I think you meant a mouth, but DG.
You can say a month full.
Yeah.
Schwab had a mouthful before we started. Yeah.
Schwab was talking about mouthfuls before we started.
With you people?
Yeah, it happened.
DG says I think he was taking advice from AB's uncle. He's referring to LeVeon Bell.
I think you're right, Dave.
Yeah. So okay, and another funny thing: Kenny Pickett's playbook was stolen, but then apparently returned after his car was stolen. Right.
Must have had LoJack on it. Huh?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't stolen. The car was stolen, and the playbook remained in the vehicle.
Yeah.
It was innocent. He was just doing a commercial shoot.
There was an innocent theft.
Yeah. The guy probably thought it was just a rental,
Right.
Just a car laying there with the keys in it, just took it for a ride.
He didn't search it,
Who knows? Maybe he memorized the whole playbook.
That's what I was saying.
It is Canada's offense. It couldn't have been that hard to figure out.
It's funny.
Well, who was the one that was accused of stealing the playbook? Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of memes.
You never know with that guy. The new Mission
I wouldn't put it back.
I went down from Patriots headquarters.
There you go. Yeah, it's funny. It's I totally lost my train of thought. I'm still thinking about Schwab's mouthful from earlier.
Really? You're not thinking about Kenny Pickett losing his playbook?
I can't help myself.
That's a serious egregious offense.
It is a serious egregious offense. I
think they need to switch out the offensive coordinator over it.
I remember now. Speaking of that, I remember now. The interview that Kenny Pickett did on the radio this week, where he said they are actually they're instituting like 3 times the number of plays that he was given last year to run. Okay, because he's experienced and all that. All I could think about was like, oh wow, now you have about half the number of plays that a regular offense in the NFL runs.
Right.
Because I don't know about you guys, but I do kind of know about you guys. There's an awful lot of talk this year coming from Steelers fans, Steelers reporters, Steelers Nation, that this is the year. This is the year Kenny Pickett is going to show us what he really has. Look, no, it's not going to happen. I wanted to.
Too many jet sweeps.
Yeah, I wanted to. I'm the biggest Kenny Pickett fan out there. Okay, I don't have to say that anymore. But there is just no way in hell with this guy running the offense. You telling me three times more plays, Schwaber, 3 times more jet sweeps. I mean, this guy you're telling me 3 times more plays? Then why wasn't Ben Roethlisberger running 3 times the offense? He wasn't. So that's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, it is.
Not by Kenny Pickett. He's not giving bullshit. I'm just saying the offense is bullshit.
No, it is. I mean, I don't understand why you can't give a rookie quarterback the full playbook. Like, here it is. This is the full playbook. Learn it. Like, if you struggle through it, that's okay. You're in your first year. It doesn't matter. But honestly, I think it has to do with the Steelers organization. And certainly Mike Tomlin is part of this. Their ability to want to be a winning team. Right. So in order to be a winning team, you don't throw too much at anybody at any given time. So it makes it easier to dumb down things. And I think that's the problem. Like, they don't want to just go for it. They're afraid to just go for it. It's like, when you get into that cold pool, are you going to put your foot in, or are you just going to jump in? The Steelers are always put the foot in. Let's see how the waters are. Let's get used to the water before we, kind of go down the ladder into the water. They're not a full on jump into the water type of person. So that's just the way the organization's always going to run.
So we have a question here from a YouTube viewer, Steelers Freak on YouTube. Thanks for watching us there. His question is, who hired Canada? We've talked about this before.
Tomlin.
Yeah, it's a Tomlin hire.
Yeah, but it's an organizational hire, but it was Tomlin. Did he hired him right out of Pitt, right?
Yeah.
I think he was quarterbacks coach for a couple years before he became offensive coordinator.
With the Steelers.
Yeah. That's usually the way it works out with the Steelers. They usually say quarterbacks coach becomes offensive coordinator. For whatever reason, that just seems to be the lineage on the offensive side of things.
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know, and I don't care. It's time for him to go. And I think in this area anyway, here in Pittsburgh, after that first, literally the first half, I think the fans are going to give him, I don't know, it's going to be a shorter leash than that. They'll give him like 2 series because the patience has totally run out on that side of it. Everybody wants to see this offense perform. It doesn't matter who the name is and what the number is on the jersey. They want to see it perform, and they can't perform if the play calling is as shitty as it has been, and if the game plan is as shitty as it has been. And I just don't think it's going to change.
I mean, I have to see at least 28 to 35 touchdown passes from Kenny Pickett to say that this was a better year
at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I don't think we're going to. I mean, I think we're going to know after game 1 what the offense is going to look like. You know what I mean? Like going for the rest of the year. That's how plain white vanilla Canada's offense is.
I hope you're wrong, but you probably are right.
No, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm dead wrong. DG says Coward did the same with Ben his rookie year, only gave him limited amount of the playbook to run. Canada does need to go. Did Coward get
remember Ben's rookie year, he was the backup.
That's true.
He wasn't expected to know the full playbook.
That was the same thing with Kenny Pickett until Trubisky, right? But at the same time, you're talking a totally different offense. So
there are some parallelisms there. David's not wrong in saying that.
You got anything to say, Schwaber? You've been very quiet. Other than a curt comment here and there.
We already know what he feels about Kenny Pickett.
No, I mean, I think it's just, honestly, it's all an unknown. I mean, the thing that I think is probably the most problematic part of the whole equation is that for Kenny Pickett to have success this year, he almost has to sort of say the heck with it and gunsling a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and just say, all right, the heck with it. You know, all right, I understand the play called, but hey,
I'm going to chuck it downfield
down the field.
Let's see if he can catch it.
Yeah, like that. That's,
I agree.
That's what's going to have to happen, really. And then, of course, that happens, you know, then is, you know, Canada irritated with him and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I agree
with you. I think Kenny Pickett's going to have to take it into his own hands and just make some risky choices on the field that are going to go for interceptions sometimes, and sometimes they're going to go for big plays. But honestly, I think that's what Steeler Nations. I know that's what I want to see. I want to see that ability in him, how he can get it down the field, whether he's good or not at it. You know, we got to know that at the end of this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got a chance. You know, I would say that I think he would have a better chance with a different coordinator. But at the same time, I mean, I wouldn't rule his career as over if this year doesn't go well, because if they do remove Canada at the end of this year, then they bring in somebody new. You know, the third year could be the launching year.
I know. And,
well, especially with rookies, you know, you've got 4 years basically to prove something. So he's got 3 more years to do something, pick up that 5th year option. That's the way it always works. You know, that's the way it works with all these rookie contracts.
Yeah. So the Freak says, I read Tomlin told Canada to keep things simple for Pickett and told him to dial more back the second half of the season to stop the INTs. I don't know about that.
No, I believe it. Tomlin definitely would tell Canada that, because remember, Tomlin's defense first. Defense is going to win this game. Just make sure you don't throw in anything into the playbook to where he's got to throw it over the middle and make a mistake. You know, we want to run it on 3rd and 2. We don't care. You know, we figure we can get it done. And let's face it, their offensive line's better this year. So to be a little bit less risky is probably makes more sense this year than it did last year.
So speaking of the offensive line, in camp, Broderick Jones has been taking snaps with the second team. And you're not a fan of that.
No, I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
Because he's your number 1 pick. He's clearly going to be your starter on the left tackle position. Just put him there day one.
Yeah.
Just make Dan Moore be like, sorry, buddy, you're out. You know, if he wants to cry, if he wants to get traded, fine with me.
Do you really?
He's the future.
Do you really? I think he's the future too, but this is the way Tomlin operates. So do you really think Broderick Jones is going to end up starting at left tackle?
Honestly, I don't know. I said this a couple weeks ago that one of the things I'm going to be looking for when they finally make it to Latrobe is whether or not he's going to be running with the first team from day one.
And he's not.
Well, I mean, that's OTAs. So
true.
I'm not going to, before they get to camp,
right.
That's when it matters.
Yeah.
When they get to camp is when it matters, because he's going to know what the blocking schemes are at that point. He's going to be the guy out there either on the left tackle or he's not. And if he's not, then I've got a problem.
Yeah. I would have a problem too.
And I will make it known here on the show.
Oh, and I can't wait. I totally can't wait. Okay, we got another comment here from DG on that. We definitely know that Dan Moore isn't the answer. Yeah, and you know that. And
Dan Moore knows. So it's not like you're belittling the guy.
Yeah,
he just doesn't have the pedigree. You know, hey, you're the second team guy. You're getting as paid as much as you did last year. Just be ready to go in.
You're the swing tackle.
There you go.
Yeah, just get ready to come in when somebody gets hurt. Somebody's going to get hurt this year.
Yeah, and I'm just excited. We were talking on an earlier show. It's been 15 weeks since the Super Bowl, and it's 15 weeks to the start of the season. And
15 weeks.
I know it seems like forever, doesn't it?
Waypoint.
It's the dead zone still. I know. And the Penguins aren't playing hockey anymore, and the Pirates are going back to sucking.
Yeah.
I mean, God, we're gonna have to start talking about, like,
is there a lacrosse?
What are you drinking?
Is there a lacrosse? We might have to go over to the Riverhounds Stadium. They sold out. Yeah, they sold out.
They're playing against the big leagues now.
Hey, if you want us
quarterfinals,
if you want us to talk about soccer, leave a comment in the chat down there. Please don't. And
please tell us you don't want
that. But that's why we brought back what are we watching, and we'll get to that after the next segment here. Because
what are you drinking?
What are you drinking? Yeah, you're clearing out my fridge. So
well, I'm just helping you out. You know.
Yes, thank you so much, because that was burning a hole in my fridge. I don't even know what that shit tastes like. I have no idea.
It doesn't taste like anything.
Really?
Honestly.
Does it taste like seltzer water with a little booze in it?
Yeah, this one tastes more boozy than the others, which I don't really like.
Yeah, obviously.
But
since the can's almost empty.
I do like the cranberry flavor.
Okay, gotcha.
But the pomegranate regular ones are probably better.
Well, pomegranate is good for guys our age.
Yeah, we need
Chickalo.
it. Yeah, we need to be more regular.
Chickalo.
All right. Wanted to say his name once.
All right, we got Penguins news potentially on a new GM because the ball is in this guy's court now, and it's a guy you talked about.
Well, everybody's talking about Kyle Dubas. Everybody wants him to come in. I told you I was lukewarm on him last week. I thought that they would sign him by the end of the week, but probably what happened was they gave him an offer and they said it's yours if you want it. Remember, they have to sign 2 positions, so they're signing the GM and the hockey operations guy. If he comes in, I think it'll still be good for the team. He's young. He's an analytics guy. He'll bring in some different dimensions that Hextall didn't.
Well, Hextall didn't bring in anything, really.
Well, he didn't bring in anything, and he was non-communicative. If you've read the articles from Rob Rossi, and he's just done a great job with kind of exposing how terrible the situation was. With the
that'll be the last Philly guy.
An inside job.
And that's it.
I don't think anybody's gone to that level, but all the things he said he would fix with his communication, he didn't fix. He clearly wasn't on the same page with Sullivan. Clearly was not on the same page when Bluger got traded, on the dad's trip, and that even pissed off Crosby. And that's hard to do. It's hard to upset Sidney Crosby, but that really was like I think the straw that broke the camel's back. I kind of have an issue with that with the players, just because if you're going on a dad's trip on the weekend of the trade deadline, what do you think can happen? Yeah,
really.
And the players actually pick the weekend they do that on. So I have a little problem with that, but I'll never have a problem with Sidney Crosby. The guy is nothing but gold. He's very calm in these situations. And if he gets upset by it, then there were definitely some things that should have been communicated better in the flow. And clearly Hextall wasn't the guy. No, but so between Kyle Dubas and this other guy, Matthew Darsh, he's the current director of vice president of hockey operations for Tampa Bay. I like those 2 guys. So if either of those guys end up, I did mention Bergevin. I still kind of hope that he's in the mix somewhere.
Is he the LA guy?
Yeah, he's the LA guy. He's Lemieux's friend. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see him get a position somewhere too. So I think between those 3 guys, I think either 2 of those or one of those guys will end up in the organization. I think we'll be ready to make moves for the 2023-24 season.
Do you think it's an issue with Dubas coming in, if he comes in, considering the makeup of the team now versus the style of hockey, or the style of player that he would bring in? Or do you think that helps Sullivan? And how hamstrung are they by the contracts that they have for them to make those moves this year?
Yeah, extremely constricted by the contracts that they have. A lot of no movement clauses. They're really not going to be able to make very many hockey moves. The only one that you really have that you can move, which you probably don't want to move, is Gensel. He'd be the big piece you could move. Now if you move Gensel to Toronto for somebody, like Nylander or somebody like that, somebody maybe with a little bit more talent, a little bit younger, I could see that happening, but probably not. I don't think he's going to come in and do that. I think what he's going to do is he's going to use his analytics to look at who they need to replace on the bottom lines. And I think there are going to be some different players there. By the way, I think I remember saying this at the trade deadline that, they should have went out and got a guy who's playing for Dallas now, Domi. Right. Mm-hmm. And he's lighting it up for Dallas. So, and once again, he's a tough player. I think they need to get tough players. And the thing about Dubas that I don't like is there really weren't a lot of tough players on that Toronto team. They have a lot of talent, but they don't have a lot of tough players. So I don't know how he feels about going out and getting a tough guy. And I think, honestly, you're seeing it now with Tkachuk, doing what he's doing in Florida, and he's playing with Bennett, who's just a wrecking ball. I think they're going to have to go out and get a guy like that. So, and I don't know if he believes in that philosophy. By the way, I don't like it just because, the way it works in NHL is you police your own. So, you got to have a guy out there who's going to go lay the law down on the ice. But I hate that type of play, but that clearly is not left the NHL yet, even with all the scoring that's going on.
So the first year, of we're assuming it could be this guy. Patience is going to be the name of the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, so if they bring in Matthew Darsh, he's done a good job of trading some key players away and getting some younger talent in return. So I'm more hoping that he's going to be in the mix because I think he's got a little bit more ability for working with an older type of team and trading off some of those players. Now, he did trade Patrick Maroon off that team, and Maroon ended up winning 2 more Stanley Cups with other teams. But there's always that balance between who do you trade and who's going to be good for you coming back. I don't think they can make very many trades just because of the no trade contract.
Right.
That they have with the big guys.
Yeah. And well, that's assuming that none of them want to be traded, which they probably don't.
No, so. I mean, they played well last year. I don't see that Letang wants to go or Malkin wants to go. Crosby signed for this year and next year.
Right.
Well, this coming year and the following year. So I don't see him wanting to go, but if he does, then that would be really interesting situation for Dumas to have to deal with.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's got some young talent up in Toronto that they could trade him to. So
yeah, but we don't want to talk about that.
No, we don't want to think about Crosby leaving, but the reality is unless they sign him to an extension in this offseason, you're going to be thinking about it next year for sure.
And DG's singing your song, goalie, goalie, goalie.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you follow the IIHS, the international hockey thing that's going on. DeSmith actually performed pretty well for the American team up there.
Yeah.
They lost in the bronze to Finland. But once again,
he's not the guy.
No, he's a backup goalie.
Yeah.
And Jari didn't even play for Canada. So that just tells you all you need to know about Jari.
He's crushing it for Team USA. Cutter Gauthier. Former Flyers #1 pick from last year.
There you go. Because they are so relevant.
Cutter Gauthier.
And
nobody's really killing it for the USA.
Well,
to be honest with you, they didn't even medal. So
Mark finally woke up, Amy.
Yes. Only so much I can contribute.
I think David's right. I think they got to go out and get a goalie. But once again, Dubas didn't think that they had a goalie problem up in Toronto, and clearly they did. I mean, they went out and got our buddy Matt Murray, but he only played like 30 games for them last year and wasn't even relevant in the playoffs.
Well, that's kind of been the knock on him is like, look at the goalie he tried to pick up. So
Hellebuck's name's been thrown around as a potential Pittsburgh landing spot. I don't think they're going to go get him. I think there's going to be a bidding war for him.
Is Ilya Bryzgalov still available?
I don't know, but a Russian to help Gino. Sure.
Who the hell is that? Is that a real name or did
actually
he make that name?
Bryzgalov used to be a Flyer.
Yeah, he used to be a Flyer. Used to be a top goaltender, and I think the Flyers are like still paying for him.
Yeah. I think so. I think they like gave him like a $12 million contract.
Yeah, like the Mets are still paying Bobby Bonilla.
It's the Bobby Bonilla contract.
Yeah, I love that.
Right.
I love that stuff. I think it's great. Okay, and remember, next year, after every Penguins game, the Hockey Jesus preaches on the podcast, on the iHeartRadio app, or anywhere you get your podcasts.
Well,
and
the Stanley Cup Finals are coming up, and I have decided that after every game in the Stanley Cup Finals, I will be giving updates.
I'm so excited.
Yes, the Hockey Jesus will make a comeback for the Stanley Cup Finals. And look, I stay up to watch knockout games when it comes to a trophy. I couldn't tell you how excited I was when Tkachuk grabbed that trophy. I think it's the dumbest thing in the NHL where it's like, we can't touch the trophy because we want to touch the Stanley Cup. Grab that fucking thing, pick it up over your head and show it to your hometown. Take it into the locker room, pour champagne over it. You deserve it. And I just love what Tkachuk had to say about that thing. So good for Florida. I hope if Vegas gets to raise it tonight, that they do the same. that stupid superstition, I think Sid smashed to pieces the second time they got to the Stanley Cup by picking it up, and then he's, if they get back, he's going to do it again.
Of course
up,
he is.
Connellsville?
Yeah, Jeff is in the house from York, PA. What's up, Jeff? And Terrence from Connellsville. Thank you for being here. So yes, the Hockey Jesus we can look for. I'm so excited. I think I'm going to go have a Subway turkey sub.
I think there's one thing we could use a little more of from Hockey Jesus next year is a little bit more prayer.
I think we did need a little bit more prayer. I agree with you there.
Yeah, you gotta,
Yeah. Well, you adjust, you make adjustments.
I'll talk to the big guy about that.
Yeah. Let's get in with God here.
You've got a hotline. Yeah. You've got a hotline.
I got the straight line.
You're on speed dial.
It's all hard. It's all hard. So, okay. So we'll be looking now. Are you going to do a Hockey Jesus
Stanley Cup Finals preview? Absolutely. Okay. That'll be coming this week, probably Thursday, maybe Friday.
Whenever you get it done, brother. Whenever you get it done.
It depends. Yeah. If Dallas keeps winning, they could force a Game 7 2 nights from now. So.
Yeah. Okay.
They're on right now. So, first one, usually the score is usually the winner in these games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys. So that's it for sports. We got one of our favorite old segments that we've brought back during the Dead Zone. It's called What Are We Watching? And what does that mean? Well, it's that simple. What are we watching? With all the streaming services out there, there's so much crap you can watch. And I would wager to say that between the three of us, we've watched a lot of crap. And we like to talk about.
You more so than me. You're kind of a bad watcher.
It's all.
I've been in a bad rut lately. Bad stuff. Yeah.
Have you?
Well, this whole HBO Max to the Max thing. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking like how many marketing departments are sitting around going, we got to come up with ideas to spend money. It's totally screwed up my DirecTV stream thing. I couldn't get it. And then finally what happened is it showed up down at the bottom as a new app. So now I can finish Gamora, blah, blah, blah. So what are we watching?
Your problem?
What's my problem? Well, go ahead.
You're using DirecTV.
That's not my problem.
Yeah, that's your problem.
Is it my problem? Mm-hmm. What are you using?
Huh?
What are you using?
Fios. Verizon.
Okay. What are you using? You're DirecTV.
I use DirecTV.
Yeah, because the NFL ticket. Oh, yeah. But what are you going to do this year?
Yep.
Well, you just got to use YouTube now.
Yeah.
Yep. You got to get the YouTube.
Yeah. Got to use the tube. All right.
That's where I'm headed.
Tubing.
All right. So what?
Oh yeah, that's the party I want to see.
That's my kind of party now. Oh, I like that kind of party.
So what are we watching?
Party, baby.
What are we watching? We're going to start with Steve today.
Oh, well, how about that? Well, that's because mine's lame.
That's exactly
mine's actually not a streaming service. This is actually
is.
Something that you can still watch on the regular television.
You can move those rabbit ears and see if you can get it in.
Get that DirecTV. Yeah. Nope, don't need DirecTV. You can get it straight from the service, right there.
From the
you just put the antennas up, and you got.
You should probably tell us what it is because
everybody knows what Survivor is. Chris,
is it the 44th season of Survivor?
44th season of Survivor.
Okay, so like back
44.
There's more than one season a year. Obviously.
Usually, yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
The COVID stuff, but they usually have two. But sometimes when they do like All Stars, they just like do one.
Yeah, but doesn't that's sometimes that just totally screws me up because like back in our day, season to season,
that would be 44 years.
That would mean I was 8 when they started Survivor.
Just assume that means 22 seasons, 22 years.
Yeah. Seriously? So we were in our 30s when they started this stupid show.
Yeah. It started before I even had kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's when I finally put in my first Survivor casting, that'll be part of it.
Yeah. Are you really going to do that?
Sure. Yeah.
Have you tried to go?
No, I haven't, but I'm going to. Yeah.
You want to?
I would like to be, because I'm geared to the number 47. I would love to be on Survivor 47.
Yeah. You know why that is, right, Schwaber? Yeah. You know why he's 47, right?
No, I don't.
It gives me a reason to get my mullet back.
It's his football number.
Oh, okay.
It's his football number.
All right.
Why was it your football number?
Well, mostly because of Mel Blount.
Oh. Okay, well that shows you how much I know about Pittsburgh history.
Okay, well tell us, Steve, how is this season of Survivor different?
So this was no, it's never really that different. But what was fun about it was there was a woman from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah,
and she was an engineering manager, which is dear to my heart. And she ended up in the final 3.
Wow.
She actually got only one vote in the final, so she didn't win. But
Big disappointment.
But she almost brought it home for the Burgers. The fun thing about this season, I think, was there were 3 people who kind of stuck together and made it to the end. You know how there are people who stick together,
right?
And, they end up just stabbing somebody in the eye at the end,
right?
Oh, you betrayed me and all that. But there are actually 3 people who stuck together till the very end, except the one had to get voted off because they build fire to make it to the final 3, and it was 2 of the same team members, battling against each other. And I just love it because the competition is just so great. And I know it's not real reality TV. I know they make shit up and
whatever
all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's fun. Like Carolyn, for example, was kind of a key player this year. She was great.
That's the Pittsburgher, right?
No. Heidi was the Pittsburgh.
Oh, Heidi. Okay.
Yam Yam actually won.
Yam.
Heidi.
But no, Carolyn was like, I think she looked like she was a little psychotic. Like she was a very emotional player. And normally emotional players don't last very long, but she kind of used it to her advantage, which I think was the unique twist on it. And there was some famous person who loved Survivor and like ended up like giving her like $100,000 or $200,000.
Oh, really?
She was her favorite Survivor, and I guess like celebrities get involved now and like give them money.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Before there was in years past, there were certain votes. Like if you were voted the most favorite, then they'd give you some money, but they don't do that anymore.
And Jeff says Survivor started in 1999, the year I got married. Wow. You know what, Jeff? That would make you the true Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know his wife. She's probably tremendous because,
well, yeah.
He certainly doesn't.
If she's from York,
maybe you ought to get to spend a little time getting to know your friends.
Yeah, 1999. So that was the year Leo was born.
Yeah. So I remember
my daughter,
that.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember
my first
that.
daughter.
Yes.
I only have one.
I was going to say, let's not reveal anything we don't want to reveal on the show.
I could have another daughter.
You could. It's very possible. I think all of us could. All right.
Let's hope not.
And if you go out for Survivor, I mean, don't they want you to be like? Don't you need to train or something to like even go out for it, or can you just show up?
You have to go through physical. They have all these the interview process is legendary.
But don't you have to be like in great physical shape?
You're in better.
Well,
position.
Come on. I'm not like you, Klein. Look at me. I could make it.
That's not where I was going
it
with
helps.
this.
It helps if you're in good shape.
Okay.
No, that's not true because Yam Yam was not in great shape.
Well, it helps on the physical challenges.
I'm not like you, Klein.
I mean,
I'm not trying to go out for Survivor either. I'm just lucky to be alive right now.
No, I mean, there are definitely women and men who are like in great physical shape.
And then some who are in just like normal shape.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, you do have to take a physical and they check you to make sure you don't have any major health issues.
Right.
If he makes it to Survivor 47, so we got like a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they'd probably start the interview process in the next 6 months.
Right.
I guess,
Yeah.
Right.
I would think so. Yeah.
So if he makes it on that show, I mean, you want to talk about coattails.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have a good time. So I'm pulling for you.
Yeah,
I'm pulling for you, brother.
To get there.
Absolutely, we want you to
there
win.
And win.
Well, my fee goes up.
You're gonna get a whole new. My fee goes up. That's fine. You're gonna get a whole new wardrobe if you make it on Survivor, and a tattoo as well. We'll pay for that here.
I don't have any tattoos.
The Porch.
You're
gonna have. He's gonna have
tattooless.
Yeah. All right.
I'm sure that's a question. How many tattoos do you have?
Yeah. How many tattoos do you have?
That would be none.
Zero. I'm healthy and clean.
And I'm dirty. All right. Schwaber is watching something. I loved this show.
Mm-hmm. Oh, The Spy
on Netflix.
It's a good one. It's just a 6 episode, and it's a true story of a Israeli who also was an Arab, and he went to what was the country that he went to?
Syria.
Oh,
no. Jordan. It was either Jordan or Syria. No, it was Syria.
I think it was Syria. Yeah. I think
a Middle Eastern country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went to Syria basically to spy and made it pretty far. Gathered a lot of really good intelligence and also got caught. So it was a good story. The probably the most amazing part of the story is that Sacha Baron Cohen, who is typically Borat and kind of a fool, was in a serious acting role, and he was very, very good.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
He was very, very good.
He was one of those guys, kind of like Robin Williams, where you're like,
Right.
oh my God, this guy's incredible as an actor.
Right, right. So it was really, really entertaining, and only 6 episodes. You can get through it, in a night, if you're Chris.
Yeah.
Or 4 or 5 if you're anybody else.
Yeah.
A week if you're anybody else.
Right.
A night if you're Chris.
And it's a true story.
It's a true story. Yeah, it was, and a good story too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has a good ending.
Not really.
Not.
Oh, good.
Yes, and actually, I'd say yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
Yes and no.
Yes for some people, no for others.
Right.
There's always a winning and losing
right.
side in
It's
these
like,
battles.
it's like all
right.
of my predictions. They're
Right.
either going to win or they're going to lose. That's what I predict. And DG on the Survivor thing for you, Steve, says that Richard dude won the first season. He's got nothing on you. I agree.
Yeah.
We're going to start a campaign.
Well, you know what? Richard actually got hounded by the IRS because he never paid taxes on his money.
I know.
Really?
That was his fault.
I think he's dead now.
I think he is.
Yeah.
God rest his soul.
Sorry, Richard.
God rest his soul. Okay. I am watching something called Citadel.
I watched the first episode.
Did you?
Citadel.
It was pretty good.
Ooh.
I enjoyed it.
I see why you're watching it. She's pretty hot.
Yeah, that's you're so
Come on. Let's face it.
Is she married to a Jonas brother?
Yes.
Is she?
You know what? That really
Chopra.
pisses me off.
Boy, that Jonas.
Hey,
dude-
Joe Bros, get around.
That Jonas dude is cool.
Because she is smoking. Absolutely. And I don't know if you recognize this, you wouldn't, but from Game of Thrones,
Mm-hmm.
the dude,
Yeah.
that's Rob Stark.
Oh, it is Rob Stark.
Older. Well, he's older now.
How about that?
How about
Yeah,
that?
I've only watched one, and I liked the first one. But how much have you watched?
I watched the entire thing because I watched it in about a day and a half.
Did you? Did you?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you realize you put the wrong title.
I
on.
know. I'm
Okay.
changing it. I'm changing it. Amazon Prime. I thought I changed it. I must not have hit the save button. So
By the way, Sassy must have heard us talking about her. She's down here.
There she is.
looking
Hey,
for some
my
action.
boy's in it, who you say you don't like,
Stanley Tucci.
Stanley Tucci.
Yeah.
Did you like
Tucci's
him
in it.
this
I
one?
love Tucci.
I love the Tooch.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I rethought that my opinion on him.
Yeah.
There are some things I like him in,
Yeah.
and some things I don't. And in this, I really like him.
Did you?
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah,
there you go.
definitely. Yeah, Citadel. Apparently, there's a secret spy organization that's been set up privately around the world. It's outside of any government. It's not the CIA. It's not the FSB. It's not MI6. And their whole thing is to do good. And that's it. And then they kind of get like wiped out and double crossed. And, Priyanka Chopra, Jonas, and Rob Stark, whatever his real name is.
And Stanley Tucci discovering Italy.
And he doesn't discover Italy in the show though, but parts of it take place in Italy. Anyway, I think it's really good. But the second season that is actually about another Citadel spy, like
There's
different.
not a second season yet, is there?
Yeah, there's another season coming. There's like it's like an offshoot. It's like-
Coming.
yes,
Okay,
coming. Yes,
okay.
The
offshoot.
Citadel too.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. And when he says that, I'm reminded of the subway comment
Mm.
before the game.
That's going to haunt you the rest of your week.
I mean, just so off the cuff and
Yeah.
horrible. But Citadel, it's really good on Amazon Prime. Really good. I cannot recommend it.
I'm actually surprised that, like, to me, that's a very similar show to The Recruit and The Night Agent. And didn't you say you didn't really like The Recruit that much? I thought it was like very similar to like a Citadel.
I liked The Recruit. I like the premise of The Recruit.
Mhm.
I like The Recruit. I just thought that the main character in The Recruit overacted. That was just me.
Doesn't
Oh, yeah,
quite
that's
have-
what you did.
doesn't
Yeah, I
quite
remember
have
you
your
saying.
acting chops.
Does
No,
not. No.
overacted.
Yes.
Yes, not my
Made it
chops.
unbelievable.
He doesn't have my
David
chops.
brings up something that I
know.
watched.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's do it. One last comment in here. Thoughts on Succession's finale? I thought it was a disappointing, lame ending. It could have been better, in my opinion. Go ahead and talk about it. I'm going to watch Succession, but I don't care. You can go ahead and talk about it.
So this was when, you know how you get an ending and it's not really an ending.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this was. There was a decision that was made at the end. I'm not going to give it away for you, Chris, because it wouldn't be good. But there was a decision that was made at the end. It was kind of surprising, but it didn't really clean everything up. Like at the end, like nobody really gets killed off. Everybody's still kind of there doing their own thing. And like you get the sense like there could be a spinoff real easily from it. But if it ends just like that, then it just ends. Because it's just the actors are so messy. They're so dysfunctional. Like there's no way to clean up the mess that happens. So in my opinion, David, you're right. If you're looking for a finale that was final and this is over, you don't get that at all from this. But there was definitely a movement that went in one direction versus the other. It like went clearly in a different direction.
Okay, so spitball it. Do you see a spinoff or no?
I think the actors would want to do a spinoff. I really do, because they really like, if you watch the things after they talk about, being part of it, they really like each other. Like, so I could see that spinning off into something.
Did you watch the whole thing?
No, I watched a couple episodes. You thought I would like it, but just didn't get back to it.
Okay, so you still haven't gotten back to it.
Yeah. By the way, that's kind of a whole other topic. Like, what do we think about these? Like, when some big show ends and then they do this like thing afterwards and was like, and we just became a family. You know what I mean? Like, they're just like, our lives are completely different now that we did this show. We didn't think at the beginning that the world would take to this, but they did. And you know what? We are all such better people just for being around such good people.
You're talking about when the actors are they like jive with each other and stuff like that.
What do you mean? But what do you mean? What are we supposed to think about that? What are you talking about?
Sometimes
like that.
No, I'm saying sometimes
he doesn't believe in.
Sometimes they're a little ridiculous.
Yeah, like they take it to a new level. Like, this is my new family. Like I did 4 seasons with them, and now they'll always be best friends and stuff like that.
Like nothing will ever be the same.
Yeah,
acting won't be the same without Ruth.
Well, who's the one director who like keeps the same actors in all of his movies? Nolan, isn't it? Doesn't Nolan always
Christopher Nolan? Yes. Yeah.
Doesn't he always like use the same actors and actresses in his movies a lot?
Yes, and so does
Tarantino does quite a bit.
So does Martin Scorsese.
Yeah. So I think there's a little bit of that goes on.
Yeah. Well, they get really comfortable with people and they work really well with them.
I just love the characters in Succession. I hope they do another one, but I'm skeptical.
And to your point, Mark, I think that what happens that is that a lot of these shows now, the emotions that get wrapped up into it, and the time. If you've ever been on a movie set, if you've ever even just been an extra, which a lot of us have, and I've done a lot of that, just for the extras to show up for 30 seconds on a screen, you get the call and you show up at 7 a.m. And you may be there until 8:30 at night. And all I did when I was in Mindhunters, in the very first episode of Mindhunters.
Wasn't that the one where you had a plumber scene?
No.
I miss Mindhunters, by the way.
You did you see it or you miss it?
No, I saw. I watched them all.
Both seasons.
Bring it back.
Bring it back. It's a great show. Did you watch it?
No,
watch it.
You
watch
should. You'd like it. Yeah.
But in the first episode, you do see me for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice.
Yeah, you're going to notice now because I'm bringing it on.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
You showed me the thing you had to slow down and zoom in on.
Yeah.
So I could see.
Yeah. Listen, between that and my 3 seconds of fame with Russell Crowe, I mean, I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Sure.
Yeah. You were. Yeah, you were on screen with Russell Crowe.
I was.
Yeah. Over.
You're the Terminator.
I was.
Yeah.
The next 3 days.
What do you think? We're dumb?
Yes.
You think we're stupid?
No,
Chris?
I was.
Hey, he's the Terminator.
Okay. I was on film with Russell Crowe.
Sure, in The Beautiful Mind.
Yes.
I bet.
Yeah. I was just. You fucking. All right.
We need to end this.
Yeah. The point I'm making is it's a long. It's a lot of. I can understand why
Take
they
it
all
from
kinda,
an extra.
why they got
Chris Klein. It's a long day.
Yeah. DG says Russell Crowe threw a telephone at you. No, but you guys will be sorry next week when I prove you wrong. I'm just telling you. All right, guys, listen, this has been absolutely a joyful Memorial Day. And I want to thank you for listening to the Sports Porch podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your freaking podcasts. And of course, watching us on the world or visiting us on the World Wide Web at theporcheslive.com, theporcheslive.com,
theporcheslive.com,
theporcheslive.com,
and every Sunday on American Busker iHeartRadio,
4 p.m.
Eastern Time. That's it. We are out. Not out yet.